This is Hell Pomona Hell, a documentary about Pomona College's alma mater, written for a Blackfish show. Yes, I did just say that. So, here at Pomona College in Claremont, California, it's quite a nice place. It's one of the best schools in the country, maybe even the world. Although, there was some controversy recently when anonymous flyers were posted around campus suggesting that the alma mater, or the school song, Hell Pomona Hell, was written for a blackface show in 1910. To many people, this was an interesting, little tidbit, and to others, it upset them. So, parents were visiting, and they asked, were the flyers accurate? The administration responded essentially by creating this committee called the Committee on School Songs. Their goal was to research the history and to come up with a suggestion to the president about what path should be taken. This committee was composed of students, professors, trustees, staff, and they had two summer researchers, one of whom was, well, essentially I spent a little over 3 months looking into the case, using the Special Collections Room at Honnold Library, documents online, as is the Seaver House, which is also known as the Alumni House, which are where alumni records are kept. And I looked into the topic pretty deeply. And it's my consensus that Hell Pomona Hell was indeed written for a blackface show. The exact date was probably January 15th, 1910, around 8 p.m. You can get it that exact because there's a Student Life article that reviews a particular show called The Baseball Show. And in this show, Richard Laux, who actually flunked out after his first year, but was still considered an alumni. When he was a student, he wrote several songs for these blackface shows, which were fundraisers for the sports teams. Essentially, he gave a speech to the Glee Club sometime in the 60s, and he left behind these notes that he wrote in preparing the speech. And these notes cite specific details about his experience here, as well as specific details about the baseball show in question, wherein he writes, the song was only written for the show closer. No, wherein his notes he writes he wrote the song to close the show. He also writes that he's not sure when it became the alma mater per se, but so in his notes, in Richard Laux' notes, he left behind a detailed account of when he wrote the song and why he wrote it. He essentially says this blackface show that they were performing as a fundraiser had no finale. He had written another song called Blue and White, which had closed the first half of it, which they called a traditional blackface show. The second half was a sort of satire of a popular Italian opera called Il Trovatore. He called it the ill-treated Trovatore. Maybe pronouncing that wrong, I'm not sure. Essentially, he wrote the song for a blackface show. These are his own words. This is confirmed in part by William Clary. Essentially, Richard Laux did write Hell Pomona Hell for a blackface show. This is at least according to his records. In these note cards that he wrote, he writes that the show needed a closer, so he skipped a few classes. He churned out Hell Pomona Hell, which is sort of the typical school pride song of that period. There are many variations on the same song. There's even one other song that shares this title, but it was apparently written by an earlier student in 1906. Though how or when it became the alma mater is something of a mystery because it's never really been an important issue. This is in fact pretty much the first time in history that the school song has gotten attention from the executives. This was always more of a student thing, sort of a glee club activity. And really, it's only become a big deal because someone suggested that we should change it. And it's more or less an idea of change that brought about this conversation that we're having and this documentary. Now, I'm confident in the facts. I'm confident enough in the facts to say that Help 'Em on the Hill was indeed written for a blackface show. Where we would go from here is pretty much up in the air, I would say. The council has met to talk about this. I don't know what suggestion they made to the president, but I would just include the facts. Well, it occurs to me that there are